I've made 2 videos in the past breaking down how to build an aesthetic Instagram as a guy.
I've grown my own Instagram from 0 to over 125k followers.
And I still think it's one of the highest ROI things a guy can do for their brand, dating life, and social circle. But here's the thing, the game's changed. This is the new meta for building a fire Instagram as a guy. The golden rule, and I mean burn this into your brain. Don't look like you're trying too hard. Putting together an Instagram profile is actually a lot of work, but it should never look like you're putting in that much effort. Think of it like styling your hair to look messy. If your hair's actually messy, you look terrible, but when it's purposefully messy, it looks good. Like you didn't try too hard, even though you definitely did. That's exactly how your Instagram should feel. Part 2, different rules. Men and women use Instagram under completely different rules. A girl can post a gym pic or a selfie and it works. When a guy posts the same kind of content, it just comes off as a bit awkward. As a guy, everything has to look unintentional. The second it looks like you're performing for the camera, the whole thing falls apart. Say you have a really nice and lean physique. Instead of mirror selfies or posing shirtless in your room, find ways to show it off without looking like you're trying to show it off, like a picture at the beach or pool. Think of it like a guy that's really rich. Nothing is a bigger turnoff than if he goes around telling people how loaded he is. But if it's implied indirectly, it hits way different. Aesthetic anchor. To have an aesthetic profile, you actually have to be somewhat aesthetic yourself. I'm not saying you need to be a male model, but just have something visually interesting or better than average. It could be your physique, your face, your hair, your style, your tattoos, your lifestyle. Whatever it is, something about you has to stand out and carry the visual weight of the profile. For example, if you're lean with good proportions, your physique is probably the easiest thing to build around. If you've got strong facial features, good skin, or really great hair, you can lean into portraits. If your fashion is unique or you have cool tattoos, you can make that your signature. If nothing stands out yet, that's fine. It just means that the work isn't on your feed. It's in real life. You need to go develop something about yourself that's visually strong enough to showcase. The goal is to not look like every other guy. Your profile should look like you've got something going on that sets you apart.
There's a guy on TikTok that takes guys that have trouble taking good photos and does a photo shoot for them. The results are pretty insane. Now, not everyone has access to a photographer or a $1,000 camera, which brings me to AI. A lot of regular people think AI images are still easy to spot, but they've become insanely realistic. Using an app like Minted AI, you input a few images of yourself, pick a pack, and even pick the kind of camera that you want. You'll get a variety of images that actually look like you in that aesthetic. Now, obviously, don't fill your Instagram up with these, but dropping one here and there on a dump or as a random post can spice up your feed and no one will know. Influencers actually do this a lot. Now, the best way to go about this is to generate like 40 images, because most of them will suck, but you'll find 1 or 2 that are S tier that you could never take yourself. Now, this section is quite ironic considering the next one.
Curated authenticity. Back in the day, the IG game was all about looking like an influencer. DSLR photo shoots, perfectly color-graded grids, inflated follower accounts, blue check marks, and all that. That used to be the meta. Now, it feels corny. People don't want to see over-manicured feeds anymore, especially not from guys. We've shifted into a phase where everyone's craving authenticity, or at least something that feels authentic. But here's the catch. People don't actually want full, raw reality either. They want curated authenticity. They want the version of your life that feels natural and unfiltered, even though it's been edited, selected, and thought through. It's the same way YouTubers film videos in their car and use a screen cap as their thumbnail and act like they just turned the camera on, but every second of it is still intentional. The vibe is raw, but the execution is tight. You should approach your IG in the same way. A photo dump that looks random, but still looks good. A blurry shot, but the composition still works. You don't want it to feel staged, but you also don't want to post garbage. Quality. Just because the vibe is more raw doesn't mean quality doesn't matter. People can still tell the difference between a clean, well-framed photo that feels casual and a shitty, low-effort photo with no thought behind it. You still want sharp images, you still want good lighting, you still want decent resolution. This is also where light editing comes in. You don't need to go crazy with filters, but you should know how to adjust lighting, shadows, contrast, and colors. You're aiming for that look where someone sees your feed and thinks, he looks good, but it doesn't feel like he's doing too much. Male features. Men don't photograph the same way women do, and most guys have no idea what actually looks good on camera. Masculine features tend to look better with contrast, depth, and angles. Slight shadows can make your bone structure pop. Side profiles hit harder than front-facing ones. Focal length matters a lot. Some lenses will make your face look super distorted. You're probably not gonna nail it right away. And that's the hard part. You have to experiment. This means taking lots and lots of photos. You need to become comfortable in front of the camera, and nothing will do that besides putting in the reps. At this point, you might think, damn, is this even worth it? And trust me, it is. Having good photos of yourself is only getting more and more important, so put in the work and start snapping pics. Look at how male models pose and learn. Pay attention to what angles make your jawline look stronger and what posture gives your physique the most shape. This is part of the game. If you want your IG to hit, you can't just rely on someone randomly snapping a good picture of you. You need to know how to position yourself so those accidental photos actually land. Looks inflation. There's been a massive inflation in how people look online. Everyone's doing small touch-ups now, clearing up under-eye bags, smoothing skin texture just a little, maybe filling in their hairline, fixing weird lighting, tiny things that don't make you look like a different person, but still give your looks a noticeable boost. Everyone does it, so don't be fooled and think you can tell. You only notice people that do too much. And the truth is, if you're not doing it, you're going to look worse by comparison. Not because you're less attractive, but because everyone else is presenting an enhanced version of themselves, and you're not. It's kind of like how nowadays every guy lies about their height. A 5'10" guy will say he's 6 foot, and a 5'7" guy will say he's 5'10". So now when someone actually says they're 5'10", people think they're shorter than they really are. Same thing here. The key is to keep it subtle. Instagram versus real life. There's a difference between what looks good in person and what looks good in photos. Some outfits look sick in photos, but in real life they look terrible. Same with certain hairstyles. Some hairstyles photograph really well, but face to face and one gust of wind later, they aren't really realistic for your day-to-day life. You see this with women all the time. There's the Instagram face concept, which is makeup that looks great in selfies, but in real life it looks way overdone. It's optimized for photos, not for reality. You have to understand that Instagram is a visual platform. It's not about looking your best in the outside world. It's about looking your best on camera in that one static moment. That doesn't make it fake. It just means you're playing the game for the format that you're in. So if you ever feel like, damn, I look better in person, that's probably true, but that's not the game IG is playing. You need to learn how to show up in both spaces. Copycat. You don't need to reinvent anything. In fact, you shouldn't. One of the smartest things you can do when building your Instagram feed is to find someone who looks like you and copy what they're doing. Look at how they pose, what kind of lighting they use, how they edit, what type of outfits they wear, what background they shoot in, and generally what kind of photos do well for them. Steal all of it. This isn't art school, no one cares about originality here. What matters is execution. Every guy with a clean aesthetic Instagram is borrowing from someone else. That's how the whole system works. And if you're just starting out, you're wasting time trying to figure it all out from scratch when the blueprint already exists. That's why I put together the Instagram blueprint. Not just to explain the theory, but to give you a full swipe file full of profiles you can study and model off of. Guys with different builds, different styles, different aesthetics. You can find someone in your lane and shortcut your entire learning curve. Model what works, add your own flavor, and keep it moving. And that's the new meta. Don't overthink it, just build around what makes you stand out, keep it clean, keep it casual, and stop looking like you're trying way too hard. If you want to skip the guesswork, check out the IG blueprint, I'll put a link below. Everything's laid out for you and it makes it super simple. With that said, thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out the links in our description.